Come on. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. As you can see, there's no Doug tonight. I'm your host, Angela Rose, and I'm joined by Mr. Darren Starling.
Hello.
And we also do not have our VTuber extraordinaire Kaya. Do not know where they're off to, but Doug's working on the railroad and should be joining us next week. In the meantime,
Kaya's probably off baking cookies.
Yeah, you might be right. And hello, John. How are you? But yeah. And I'm slowly putting a dent in my anime backlog.
As am I, because I'm on vacation from now until next Monday, until Memorial Day, so I will try.
Whereas we put a dent in. We're caught up on 2 shows. We put a dent in another one. And according to John in the chat, today is National Walnut Day. There really is a day for everything.
Basically.
But after last week's Mother's Day extraordinaire, I ended up, while I was at the gym, starting to watch Violet Evergarden, and I was not prepared for how much that was going to hit all the feels.
I told you. Did you make it all the way through?
I made it through episode 1.
Well,
because that's my only watch while I'm at the gym show now, until I get through the season.
Okay, well, you haven't even started on the fields, just FYI.
Hello, Ross. As far as this season goes, we've slowly been picking away. We are a handful of episodes into Demons of the Shadow Realm, caught up on Witch Hat, caught up on Scum of the Brave. And that's my fun one. John Knight says, finally finished My Hero Academia special episode, and it was a great way to end the My Hero journey. He enjoyed the opening and the moments and the character development. Yeah, no, that was a very cute episode. And apparently there's another special coming at some point late in August.
Of course, because they can't end one of the biggest money grabs in recent anime.
Well, apparently,
not just anime, but the whole franchise.
And apparently, Netflix is doing a reboot or a remaster reboot of One Piece, allegedly without the filler. I'll believe that when I see it. Ross says Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid the movie will be coming out on Blu-ray in August as well.
That reminds me, I need to watch that.
I might be in the minority here, but I tried watching Kobayashi and it was not for me. I did not enjoy that one at all.
How many episodes did you get into? About 2.
If that.
It kind of is a slow burn, so I can't really fault you for that.
And Amanda Sullivan in the chat says hi. And John Knight says, finally finished Free Run Season 2 dub, and it was a great season. I still haven't watched Free Run. I've been told by multiple people that it's really, really good. I might eventually go and watch it. and not tell Doug.
Well, it took you this long to watch Violet Evergarden, so even though that really wasn't a huge hype show, it's still one of the ones I said you should have watched a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, you did. And no, it's I um that's one of those things where I'll watch it eventually. If nothing else, just to see if I agree with the amount of hype. Because I had this conversation with somebody in person about free runs specifically. But also I have a tendency to when things get overhyped to me, I refuse to watch them. But we'll see.
Let's
As for,
say, and meanwhile, I've been trying to tie up some of last season's anime. Um, Tune into the Midnight Heart. Uh, Pretty good wrap up. Still don't know which of the four is the one he's been searching for. But also season two has been confirmed, so looking forward to that when it eventually makes its debut. Uh, but as far as shows from this season, I'm only watching three currently. I was trying to make headway into more, but I ended up, like I said, watching some of last season stuff first. So, but I am caught up on The Angel Next Door, which is, oh my god, just kill me.
I was
It's too
gonna
much.
say,
It's too much. I love it. I
as
love it.
I remember you talking about that one during season one about how amazing it was for a romance.
Yep, and basically, it has turned now. It would this could probably piss some people off, especially your average couple, but this is probably one of the most wholesome relationships I've seen in anime. Period. I thought Tony Kawa was wholesome. This, I think, takes it a step further beyond that. So there's that. And then also with Story of Wand and Sword, oh my gosh. The first four episodes could have been the finale, honestly. Um, it was great. And now going into the next arc, um, very much looking forward to. It's doing a great job so far. And then the other one I had not caught up on yet is Mistress Cannon is Devilishly Easy. I think I'm only 3 episodes into that, but I plan to catch up with it at some point. And then I got several others that I am eventually planning to start. And depending on the weather this week, since I'm on vacation, may actually have time to.
Yeah, no, we watched a lot of episode ones and then went away and then basically came back to okay, we're gonna pick one and binge. So that's where we're at. John Knight says, I finally finished Sentenced to Be a Hero, 10 out of 10 show. Animation was amazing, characters were interesting, and John, I agree 100%. Sentenced to Be a Hero was amazing. And
That's one I meant to watch. Oops.
and that's from last season.
Uh-huh.
And Ross says, I'm caught up on that series. Darren just saw the swimsuit episode.
So that would be Mistress Cannon, I believe.
I assume so. But yeah. Yes, he's confirmed.
Okay. It's a lighthearted, etchy series. You have the daughter of Beelzebub, the the demon of gluttony, and basically she got tired of food in the demon realm and went to go make her mark in the human realm and ends up developing a relationship unwittingly, unwillingly per se with a human, and then crazy antics ensue, and it's your typical etchy romance, but at the same time, it does have its own unique aspects.
Yeah, I just I'm just this season I am so far behind on stuff that it's one of those I'm just not gonna add something new. Um I wish Kaya was here because I'm curious about the whole Miku thing, which was last week. Because apparently multiple friends of mine were there. And you don't pay attention to sports, do you?
Me, no. Sorry.
No, it's just more and more just the crossovers. Like the Boston Red Sox did a One Piece night. I think it was last week, or it's coming up.
It was last week.
Yeah, confirmed from the Peanut Gallery. It was last week.
Hi, Roberto.
Darren says hi. Yeah, but no, there's so much. There's so much like over collabs these days that it's just one of those. It's like wow. Back in the day, you never saw stuff like that.
And if you did, it was more in Japan and in-house than anything else.
Yep. And Ross
Speaking of-
says,
Good.
go. From the chat, Ross says, I'm changing anime subject. I'm watching the anime Haibara New Teenage Plus, and as slow as it is, if you ever saw the anime Blue Box, the best character that is so pure want to protect Uta is best.
I'm familiar with that. But I did not watch Blue Box, but I know what you're talking about.
I've never seen either show, but that doesn't surprise me.
Now, I was gonna say, speaking of sports and anime, one of the cosplayers I follow recently went viral because she's from Taiwan. She was in a free run cosplay at a baseball game, and now the internet has taken that by storm.
I'm so not surprised by that.
But it's cosplayer Neneko. But I'll say that her cosplays are very, very accurate, honestly. Like, they actually are good.
That's awesome. I think
That's
I'm
good.
more.
Good.
I think I've just gotten to a point where I'm still surprised to see like anime cosplays at sporting events. But Ross is saying, "Oh, forgot news to share with Darren. How Not to Summon is getting a season 3."
Yes, I remember that. But anyway, if you wanna show that,
Let me pull this up, and then let's see if I can do the screen share without. But there you go, Freeman cosplayer at what? At a baseball game, it looks like. But yep. I can't tell what. But yeah, that is. Go. You know what? There we go. And in horror news, the entire Saw series is on Netflix. But so we are just doing the rundown.
speaking of Netflix, they are slowly starting to overtake Crunchyroll, as Crunchyroll is supposedly making some very questionable decisions lately.
And Netflix also signed a deal with I forget which anime studio. There was some sort of, I believe, exclusivity deal. I want to say it was Mappa. Yes, it was. In January, there was a Netflix strategic partnership with Mappa, and there will be, and Mappa's content will be at least for this going forward for now exclusive to Netflix.
Anyway, Netflix just be making the moves lately.
We'll see what you know what I mean. Now that makes me wonder if one.
Oh Lord, Angela's wondering. Everybody run.
This is what happens because I only have 4 tabs open on my screen. But no, it is interesting. It is interesting to see the different streaming services with anime, and we're getting more of it. And Disney Plus somehow removed content of season 2 of Yuzakura family, saying it's not available in your region. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything about that, but then again, it's Disney, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I on my I was on my adventures today. I was pleasantly surprised, wandering into a comic shop with a friend of mine, how much manga there was, as well as the availability of Japanese Pokemon cards, as well as opposed to just the English ones. There was a fair amount of import content, as well as like your standard comic books and gaming stuff that is sold in comic shops.
Which is quite impressive because Japanese cards are not something you normally find here.
Yeah. Exactly. And the amount of manga that was in this comic shop took me by surprise. I was not expecting that either. I also didn't know they made a manga for Assassin's Creed, which kind of circles back to a recent conversation about like just the different medias and other countries' takes on content. And Ross, going back to the Disney thing, Ross says, opened up Disney Plus and it said exactly not quote not available in your region yet. I've been watching this whole time on there this spring. Had to watch this season. Had to watch episode 6 on Hulu. Ross, I don't know what to tell you. And then John Knight says he's been watching Mandalorian for the first time. The Mandalorian, so good. Darren, have you watched any of the Star Wars content?
Nope.
Have you even seen any Star Wars at all ever?
Remind me, was The Hobbit the prequel to all of Star Wars, or am I
That's
thinking
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings? Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me, but no, I was never a Star Wars person at all. My dad was more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars person.
Usually
And
it's one or the other.
he grew up with Star Trek more than Star Wars, and even though I never got into either, I definitely remembered of the two him talking more about Star Trek.
Makes sense. And Ross says, I'm looking forward to Scary Movie coming out. Yep, Scary Movie 6 is next month. I can't believe we're on 6.
I haven't seen any of them.
I've only seen 1 and 2.
It's funny. I will watch a horror anime, but I will not watch a scary movie like that willingly. But yeah, I'll watch supposedly scary anime instead.
Scary Movie is not actually scary, it's a satire.
No, I'm talking about like actual.
You're talking about horror,
like quote unquote scary movies, like
I'm when it comes to that genre, I'm very, very picky.
Pickier than comedy?
Comedy, I just don't like. I like intelligent comedy and I don't like slapstick for the most part. Like, that's a very broad generalization and there are exceptions, but there's just some things, some comedy I just do not find funny. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But horror, it's one of those things where it's like I love the psychological horror type of movies. But like the body horror and the jump scare stuff, just no. Just no thanks. Ross says, then Darren can't handle the recent yandere horror movie that just came out called Obsession.
Well, maybe it's just I don't like 3D. I've gotten to where I don't watch much that isn't anime. I haven't seen a good like live action or like realistic movie in a hot minute.
Whereas I going to the movies in theaters is so expensive that I'm picky with what I will spend that kind of money on.
Especially since going to the theater is incredibly expensive in comparison to what it used to be nowadays.
Agreed.
I was hearing that in some places going to the theater would cost upwards of $50, and I'm just like, holy crap!
Um,
I, I, it's just not even 10 years ago we had the dollar movie theaters. I'm like,
like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I've had like, you know what? Hence why, with a nice, as you can see, my nice 4K TV in the background and access to all the streaming, I will just watch movies that way in the comfort of my living room.
I remember when movie premieres used to be a really big thing, and you used to be able to go out, and there was no telling what you were going to see. But now it's just like they've lost they're not what they used to be.
No, I remember going to see one of the Lord of the Rings movies opening week, like a midnight showing opening night, and there were people in costume dressed up.
And I'm sure you could barely find a parking spot.
Uh, well, no, because this was in southern New Hampshire, so there was a giant parking lot.
Uh,
The line to get in was long, but we bought our tickets ahead of time, so it didn't matter. But I was also listening to a podcast at one point where uh, two of the guys from Red versus Blue were telling it's them, just the entire point of the podcast was just them telling stories about basically late 90s Texas. But they were telling a story about how they were waiting in line to buy tickets to go see one of the Star Wars prequel movies, and just the shenanigans that ensued.
that's something that doesn't happen anymore. Late night movie releases and game releases, like used to, those were really big deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's even not. I don't know. It just feels like they were even still remotely relevant pre-COVID, but ever since then they haven't been the same. Or really, when Black Friday started taking a nosedive, that's when it felt like a lot of stuff like that started to.
I think retail start Amazon, like when Amazon started, shopping online became a much bigger deal, and retail sales were a little slow. We're starting to slow down, but it really hit its peak in the COVID era of no one, rightfully so, wanted to leave their house. So why not order everything just delivered to your front door? And then because it's super convenient, who has time these days to go to the store, especially when, in most places it's get in the car, drive 20 minutes, and there's no guarantee you're going to find the thing you want. But I digress. Um, I don't know. But you're right. Things have definitely changed. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. What do y'all think?
You know, personally, even though I'm not much of a social person, social events like that, I'm kind of regretting not frequenting more when I had the chance, because you never know who you're going to meet. or what you're gonna see.
Yep. And Ross says Amazon is just like a genie in a bottle. You can wish list or buy anything, but you got to be careful what you get. Fair point.
Speaking of which, did you see GameStop put in an offer to buy eBay?
I did see that. I thought that was a joke.
It's kind of funny how the original online marketplace for the internet is now kind of fading to the wayside in comparison to what it used to be.
Agreed. There are so many
Retailers,
online retailers and online resale stores.
like eBay and Craigslist used to be the two places to go. Then Amazon started up, and it seems like everybody else followed.
Well, and now and it there's different sites for different purposes. Like, I mean, at that point, the early days of Etsy, it was all independent artists and crafters, homemade everything. And now you've just got just like different apps and sites for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I didn't. Ross says, "Did you guys hear that Spotify got bullied by people because of a disco ball logo change they announced? They're going back to the original look." I hadn't heard anything about Spotify's logo, and I use Spotify daily.
I don't think I've ever used Spotify.
That is how I listen to music these days. Because I don't have an iPhone and therefore no iTunes. And excuse me, Spotify had the out of all of the other options for music streaming, Spotify had the best selection of metal and music from artists not in the based out of other countries. So I stuck with that. But trying to think. It's been let me see. Do I still have let me see if I can do this. Did I do? Damn it, I did. Did you see in other news they're taking down the Unicorn Gundam in Tokyo.
I did see that.
I don't know if they're replacing it with a different Gundam. And Ross says they changed it because of an anniversary they were doing for celebration, so they were changing their logo to a glitter disco ball this week. Everyone called out on it, and they announced this morning they're changing it back. I don't know. And according to Anime News Network, Gundam Wing gets a new visual project. It's Gundam Wing is 30 years old. Um, very little has been said about this, but it's not. It is what format remains to be seen. Could be a movie. Could be a long running series. Who knows? Da, 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 da. But yeah. And also apparently, thanks for that update, Ross. Apparently, Gundam Seed prequel is getting a movie in theaters. That I hadn't heard. I hadn't heard anything about that, but Gundam Seed is not a Gundam I've seen. Have you seen any, Darren? Have you seen any of the Gundam content?
Nope.
That's not really your thing, is it?
Not gonna say it's not my thing. It's just not something I go out of my way to watch. I have seen a couple of mecha anime, but just never. I don't know.
No, that's one of those. Gundam Wing is one of the ones that it's one of those anime that for a certain generation it's the gateway anime. And it was actually one of the early ones that I watched, or at least watched pieces of, and then ended up going back to years upon years later. But um yeah, I don't know. We are basically past the halfway point in the season, and I'm like still so far behind on anime and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I said real life's been kicking both of our.
Yep.
This
I go to
season.
Yeah, no, I go to I've been, I spent the early part of the season traveling and busy, and then as a result just too tired because I watch a lot of my anime subtitled. Some days it's just like I'm way too tired to watch anime. Um but so you're on vacation this week, outside of potentially watching anime and catching up on projects. Got anything fun planned?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's see. It is coming up on Memorial Weekend, so therefore, Anime-Zing is back in town. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that is where I will be.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun trip, and one I hope to make it back to at some point. Just with with everything being expensive, the cost of living being expensive, and other travel and whatnot for this year, it's just not happening.
Totally understandable. Plus, we all gotta ensure we make it to Massachusetts later on this year.
Well, yes, you and Doug need to travel safely and get up here, whereas for me and Kyle, we're already here, so it's because
Yep.
it's home. And
Well, let's say, from the sound of it, I definitely have. Well, not. I'm not going to say definitely, but I should be getting my time off as requested, even though boss lady requested hers at the same time, about a month or two before I did mine, even though we were both like 9+ months ahead.
Hmm.
But she made it clear that nobody else could have off during that time. So
Oh no.
we are in the middle of training other people to cover our shoes for a couple of days, and right now we are using my first week of vacation as a trial run to see how they're going to do without me.
My money's on not good.
We'll see,
Um,
because
it,
they've been a little bit more willing to learn since I kind of made it clear that I'm not going to be as concerned as I was anymore.
oh dear.
So basically, like we had a face-to-face meeting, and I basically said, "Okay, does everybody know how to do this? Okay, does everybody know how to do that? Okay, those of you that don't know how to do it, meet me in the office, and I'm going to show y'all how to do it. And after that, good luck."
Yup. Um, in anime news, the original voice of Ren in Detective Conan passed away this past week.
Yes, she was in her mid 60s, I think, or early 70s. I forget which, but she was the Japanese voice actress for Ren.
That is.
I mean, this Detective Conan, it's not like it's been going on for as long as I've been alive. It's not like it's been going on for 30 years. Oh, wait, it has.
I was about to say, isn't Detective Conan one of those shows that's almost as old as I am?
No. It started airing in 96, so it's as old as I am. Dragon Ball is as old as you are, because it started airing back in the 80s.
Fair enough. Okay. And John Knight pipes in with yesterday was Janet Jackson's 60th birthday. Okay. I feel a little less old now.
Just a little.
Indeed, just a little.
Well, I mean, it's not like we were making me feel old prior to the show.
You did that to yourself.
True, but at the same time, it's still crazy to think that Pokemon is also practically 30 years old.
True. I did. What in the heck? Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
That is the truth.
I mean, there are times I can't believe I've been married almost 10 years. But, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, also, with the shows you are watching right now, are there
Mm-hmm.
any standout are there any truly standout opening or ending songs?
Currently, No, but you got to remember, I'm only watching 3. Um, I've not heard any real quote unquote bangers lately.
Because I would argue the last good like actual banger would be Creepy Nuts from Mashal season 2. There's been some good ones since, but nothing like that.
That caught the entire community, I'd agree, but I would also say Creepy Nuts' performance in the opening and ED of Call of the Night Season 2 was the most recent quote unquote banger that I've heard. So still Creepy Nuts, but just different show.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And Ross has a random question for everybody.
I
If you
didn't
had
do it.
no, we did not. This is all Ross. If you had the power and could revive something for a season for nostalgia or reboot it, what would you choose? I bring this up because last month I saw that was announced that Hollywood is using money to ruin mine and Angela's childhood, which is in development, a live action Fern Gully movie. Hence my question. Oh God, why?
Fern Gully, why does that sound familiar?
That's a I don't remember if that's Disney or I don't think it's Disney. It's an animated movie from like uh Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest is from 1992. It is a stacked cast. Uh trying to figure out what studio this is. I don't think it's Disney. But the cast includes Robin Williams, Tim Curry, Christian Slater, Cheech Marin. Wow. Just looking back at that, looking at this now, that's what in the heck? Oh, it's okay. So technically now it's Disney, but 1992, 20th Century Fox. Uh, Yup, and the featured review Fern Gully is a not is about as enjoyable as animated movies outside Disney get. Uh, I Ross, I don't even know where to begin with any of that. With that, I wow, why? What? You know what? Disney is making live action everything, and Disney owns Fox, so this makes some level of nonsense. Kind of. Um, but I've already ranted about the whole why does Hollywood continue to do like nothing original? Ooh. See, Ross, the question is tough because there are things I watched when I was in my teens and 20s that I don't think would do well now for a variety of reasons. But then again, they're also doing something with Firefly, like coming soon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really necessarily have an answer. When the X Files was one of my favorites through my teen years, and I tried rewatching it on Netflix, and I couldn't get through the new content. But what about you? What about you? What would you reboot if you could? Or bring back?
Honestly, I don't know.
Like, I don't like I get what they're trying to do with keeping stuff bringing back things for new audiences, but why? That is all. But why? Um okay. Ross says it got worse. I just brought up Fern Gully for example. The other was Pippi Longstocking. See, Pippi Longstocking is one that at least makes sense because that's so old that I feel like that's one that gets something every couple generations. It gets a retelling per se. So I feel like that's different. But then again, these days you have to be really careful with how you do things because the as far as Hollywood goes, because you could do things in the 80s and 90s that you can't do today,
Mm-hmm.
even in satire. Like I'm cautiously optimistic for Spaceballs 2, but as a whole, you can't make a Mel Brooks movie today. He was known for his irreverence. And Ross keeps going down this Hollywood disturbing trend. Jim Carrey's apparently interested in starring in a live action the Jetsons movie. Just no.
Wow. Talk about going way back.
The Jetsons was,
The 70s?
I think so. You know what? I'm gonna look that up because I believe that's Hanna Barbera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. 1962 is when it debuted.
Dang. I
Um,
was saying, where's the Flintstones in that? Because do you know they did a collaboration movie between the two at one point, right?
yes, and that apparently the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones was 1987.
Wow, so 25 years after the Jetsons premiered.
Yep, there was apparently a 1990 movie, animated movie.
Mhm.
As okay, announced last fall, there's I don't know how true this is, but apparently to be released, there's a live action movie starring Jim Carrey, Zendaya, Aquafina, and Bryan Cranston. And Ross, why did you send me down this rabbit hole? You know what? I think Doug's going to be disappointed he missed me ranting about all of this. Ross, you are making me sad, Ross, because I agree with you. I don't want to Hollywood to keep ruining good properties. Because for every one film that actually does nostalgia well, we get way too many that are just garbage. And Jim Carrey as George Jetson, I don't know if I agree with that. But hey. On that note, that's all. Help me out here. I got nothing. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Me neither, because y'all are venturing off into realms that I have no comment on.
I've
'Cause
got. I'm at a loss. I could go on a very long ramble, but I really don't want to about Hollywood.
I was about to say I haven't paid attention to Hollywood in years.
Um, bringing us back,
Actually,
bringing us
I
back,
don't think ever.
bringing us back to anime. Akane Banashi English dub is now on Netflix with episodes 1 and 2.
Not familiar with that series.
That's the one that's the Rakugo series that I have been so hyped for, and they actually dropped it. They put it out on YouTube immediately after the release in Japan.
And
I
is
knew
that one you watched? You've watched it?
I'm not caught up. I did watch the premiere during Anime Boston of episode 1. That was like a whole big to-do, and it was amazing. And I knew it was gonna eventually be on Netflix. I just forgot when. Because again, real life kind of got in the way. And John, if you watched Akane Banashi, let me know your thoughts, because what I've read of the manga is fantastic. The first couple episodes of the show I watched were really good. And then John Knight also says, I finished Trigun Stargaze dub in 3 days. It was a great way to end the Trigun animated series. Yeah, I need to go back and finish that, but we're watching that with other people and schedules keep getting in the way. I know I'm currently in the middle of that. And you know what? Let's go to my anime list and see how far we got. Yeah, we got a few episodes in, and I'm looking forward to finishing that, because Trigun, Stampede, and Stargaze were very different from the original, but so good. And Ross says, yes, I'm switching back to anime. The first 3 episodes of the final part of the 1000.
Final part of what? Bleach.
Final part of the 1,000-year blood arc will be in theaters before it airs on TV at the end of June for 4 days. Yeah. Yes, John, I'm saying I'm recommending Akane Banashi. I think everybody should watch it, but that's just me. And I will not say that about a lot of shows, because it's rare that you find something that almost everybody will enjoy. And then next week is apparently the Crunchyroll Anime Awards.
Which we get to dissect once they're announced.
Yep. Makane Banashe it's basically about the short answer to that is Rakugo as a form. It's an anime and manga all about Rakugo. But it's also to a lesser extent basically a girl coming of age.
That reminds me of O Maidens in Your Savage Season, where the whole premise is four coming of age girls realizing many things.
Yep.
But did you ever watch that one, or was that just one that I got Doug to watch?
I've never heard of it, so either you got Doug to watch it or somebody else.
I think it was Doug.
And there's a different piece of a giant 3D printed sword in my living room.
It is the Horse Killer sword from Berserk.
I don't know if you heard that,
I did.
but yes, 3D printing. He's been 3D printing stuff. And Ross is recommending I check out Pardon the Home Intrusion, and there's the rest of it as he covers my face with it. But the joys of what you can do with a 3D printer.
It is.
What is Pardon the Home Intrusion, Ross? Because that is not one I've heard of. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And he says it's comedy love triangle. We'll give that a maybe. Let's see if it left. Why do you not leave me logged in? I click on stay logged in. Have you tried, for those of you who use my anime list, is it just me or is the website kind of clunky?
Maybe recently, but not really.
Because I find I find it to have more issues on my PC than I do using the app on my phone. But maybe that's just me.
Well, the app is kind of nice.
But I don't necessarily. The apps. And Ross says he's on Live Chart. What is
Chart doesn't mean.
What is Live Chart? I've never heard of this thing.
Basically, it's just like my anime list. It's another way to track your anime watching. It's called livechart.me, Or that's the website.
Over the years, I have watched so much and forgotten so much that it's like trying to go back and fill in everything on one of those sites that I've watched would be a ridiculous, painstakingly long process. Because I first got introduced to anime in the 90s.
I didn't get it until 2012 or 13, I believe.
I got introduced to anime in the middle 90s when I was in high school, and then started actively watching stuff semi-regularly in the middle 2000s. And then didn't watch any for quite some time, and then yeah. I'm getting instructed how to use the remote control for the fan in the window.
You mean you had a fan of the show sneak into your window?
No, I mean it's hot. It's hot outside still. We live in New England. It's not supposed to be this warm yet. 75. It's apparently 75 degrees outside in New England and not raining. And we have a fan in the window.
Okay. Let's see what it is now here in the Carolinas, because it hit in the 90s today. It is currently 82. And I can hear my AC running.
And to kind of go along with my comments from a couple of minutes ago, Ross says, caught a glimpse in 2005 via Adult Swim, but didn't get into anime until 2006.
I'd say I watched anime for a couple of years, not realizing what it was in the forms of Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, eventually Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was the reboot of the original Dragon Ball Z series. Yeah. But Yu-Gi-Oh was, I would say, my first quote-unquote official anime.
Yeah,
because it was shown on the Kids WB way back when.
Yeah, see, for me, my best friend from high school worked at a Suncoast, and she worked at Suncoast, so she would import stuff all the time, and she imported the stuff.
You're going to have to explain to this younger generation what a Suncoast even is.
Oh boy, okay. Suncoast. You made me feel old again. Okay.
Look, by the time I made it, FYE had acquired them.
Okay. Suncoast, for all you millennials and younger, was a store that sold movies, movie related merch to an extent, and some music. It was not just American movies. There was a section for foreign films, and there was a smaller section for anime. My friend worked in this store and imported a lot of anime. And when she would come over to my house, she brought over whatever she was watching at the time. And that was my introduction to anime. So I got exposed to not mainstream stuff first.
Hmm.
And then in college, my roommate showed me Serial Experiments Lane, and during a drinking party, someone got the bright idea to put on Grave of the Fireflies after all after everybody was very drunk.
About to say, so when did the crying stop?
Uh, I don't remember.
Exactly my point.
And but that's some of my early experience with anime. And well, as I've gotten older and my tastes have evolved, I still really like the psychological. I actually really enjoy watching the shows, the not necessarily mainstream shows that make you go, "What the fuck did I just watch?" My anime list open because I will say, Demons of the Shadow Realm actually turning into a what in the heck.
You know what's probably the saddest part about the whole thing, just with that show?
What?
And even though I know nothing about it, when I hear Shadow Realm, I immediately go back to Yu-Gi-Oh! And
Fair.
growing up with the Shadow Realm, which didn't exist in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series. That was a American adaptation because in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, when you played a shadow game, the loser died. So
Or
in order to not seem as violent, they basically catered. They came up with the Shadow Realm.
and instead of being murdered, they got banished.
They got banished to the Shadow Realm, or their soul was effectively taken.
Ay, ay, ay. Ross's story saw case closed at 3 a.m. while sick with allergies back in 2005, and then a year later started seeing anime online. And my first official anime was Rumbling Hearts in junior high. That's what got him started. It was a rerun for
Rumbling,
case.
Rumbling Hearts is that old? Oh my
Uh,
god!
apparently, case closed. It was reruns.
Because I watched Rumbling Hearts, and I mean, interesting series. And also, one of my friends from way back when basically wanted to fight me over recommending that series because of how much he hated it.
You know what? Not all recommendations are gonna hit. I've been recommended some content over the years that I have very much not liked. Um, that said, I'm not gonna fight anybody over a recommendation. I'm just gonna be like, I didn't like that, and then not listen to that person's recommendations again.
Yeah, like I said, he was just not very happy with me. It was funny.
And Ross says his first anime DVD was Girls Bravo and Magicano from Hastings.
I own Girls Bravo. I think you know what's funny? I think I purchased Girls Bravo at a FYE.
I remember when FYE took over both Suncoast and, dating myself even more, Sam Goody, which was the music store that was probably owned by the same parent company that owned Suncoast. I could be wrong, but they were right next to each other in the mall.
And see, and that's the other thing. That's where it was the mall. How often did you see a Suncoast or FYE outside of a mall? Which is something else these people know nothing about. This younger generation knows nothing about.
No, FYE is not an alien store. FYE stands for your entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And they sold movies, music, collectible books, Magic the Gathering cards in some locations.
Mm-hmm. Basically,
Very similar to Newbury Comics.
it's the precursor to, well, it's the closest thing we had to a anime store based on the fact that they actually had more anime content than literally anywhere. You had to go way out of your way in retail stores. And did Blockbuster ever really have a big anime or foreign selection?
Um,
I'm, I know that when I went, I was young enough and didn't know about that. I predominantly stuck to the American stuff, like the kids' movies.
I never really went to Blockbuster. We had a local independently owned video store, think Clerk
But
style,
so did we. Um,
but that's the one we went to. And and the answer is I don't remember.
I forgot that there toward the end, Blockbuster would also let you rent video games.
Yep. Um yeah, that was a thing that happened. And then there was an online service that tried to basically be the DVD rental side of Netflix for video games. But
And then the
apparently tomorrow is going to be 95 degrees in the state of Virginia.
mm,
Yeah,
it's gonna get close. It's gonna be around the same here. It's supposed to be in the 90s the next 4 days in a row.
Apparently for us it's going to be in the 80s, and we've got the first New England's got the first coming of summer.
And you know what the funny part is? We're supposed to dip down back into the 60s next week.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh I,
But yes, uh,
Ross is giving us an anime description, but I don't know what show he's talking about, and it's incomplete.
remember kids being on her while she asked for other name. Their attempt to.
I'm going to assume he's continuing this. So I'm just going to wait for it.
Okay.
Because I don't know what he's talking about.
Nor do I. Well, I have a feeling, but to resolve this issue goes wrong, leaving a hole in the wall that reveals the creator of Rinko's favorite manga now with nowhere to hide. Their lives begin to overlap and surprise him.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, it must be a new anime coming out. Because anytime I hear hole in the wall and stuff like that, my mind goes places it shouldn't. Pardon the intrusion.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Excuse me. Let's see what else.
I don't know.
What else did I purchase over the years from FYE or Suncoast, or what all did I do?
See, the only anime DVDs that I own is Serial Experiments Lane.
Oh,
And I don't own a lot of physical media, and I feel like some of that is 100% because itty bitty living space.
all right, Jeannie.
Darren, your mortgage payment is probably less than the rent for this entire house and is easily double the size.
We'll talk about that off air, but sure.
Yes, but no, I'm basically doing the whole cost of living in a major city and complaining about the price of gas.
Fair. Dumb question. How much is diesel there? I know you don't pay attention to diesel, but I'm just kind of curious.
No, I actually after last week I did notice between the cheapest I've seen is $5 and change. Average is closer to middle six.
Holy crap. I'd say it never eclipsed the $6 mark here. The highest it got was $5.99. Thankfully, it has come down to the 520s is where it's at now. But I got lucky and found it for $4.71 the other day.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. The gas stations near me, granted it's Boston proper, so more expensive. Regular gas is in the 450 460 range, and diesel's over 6.
Let's see. Here, gas is in the 4 teens range for 419 and down. 407 to 419, I think, is the average around here. But the gap between gas and diesel has been closing recently, with gas getting more expensive and diesel actually getting cheaper.
Yeah, I don't typically pay attention to diesel, but given like since we started complaining, I actually do periodically check.
Because unfortunately, many people don't realize the cost of diesel is what plays into a lot of price increases, because 99% of the trucking industry
Is diesel.
Exactly.
And
99% of government operations, diesel.
Yep. And and Ross is and we've gone to plaid.
Well, let's not stay here very long.
Ross says if you know Reese's came out disgusting new stuff, can we stop fusing some weird food snacks and other weird flavors with other foods?
Sure.
Ross, you know what?
Van or Vin? He says Van. I don't think that's right.
I don't either. I don't know the reference he's making.
I think he's talking about Vin Diesel.
Oh, Vin. Yep. Yep. That would make sense. And not wrong. The Fast and Furious movie franchise is one of my favorite guilty pleasure bad action movies. So much fun. So stupid, but so much fun. And yes, he does mean Vin Diesel.
Okay, I was just curious considering he spelled it Van.
Yep. But yeah, well, and Ross, I agree. And I did not know how many weird flavors of Oreos there were until being at the supermarket today. Because I was with my friend and she needed to run errands. And holy heck.
About to say, it's like going to Japan and seeing how many flavors of Kit Kat there are.
Yes, but at least for Japan, that's, I hesitate to say normal, but normal. Then again, but then again, everywhere else they like American. They like American junk. Other countries like American junk food. I don't know. I don't understand.
Eh,
But no, as I've gotten older, that's one thing I eat a lot less of is I eat a lot less candy and a lot less junk food as a whole if I didn't make it myself.
well, guess what? At least if you make it yourself, you know what's in it.
Exactly. I I saw, continuing this trend, Ross. I saw today PBJ Reese's or Marshmallow Reese's. I heard Reese's and Oreo collab. Since I got older, I'm glad I don't eat that stuff anymore, like you said. It's like sometimes you just want the classic nostalgia of a good old Reese's peanut butter cup or a good old Oreo. none of this None of this collab stuff. And then, and you know what? While we're on food, have you ever had like the Hostess cupcakes or any of those snack cake stuff?
Of
At,
course.
at some point, they changed the recipe, and nothing is as good as it used to be.
That's everywhere.
Yup. And like I said, I've gotten to a point where I love experimenting with baking. So if I want the sweet junk food, I'll just make my own. Because then if I'm making it myself, there's no chemicals. It's just arguably way too much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, a little bit of too much sugar isn't going to be nearly as harmful as all the processed chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my ramblings. My ramblings about that. Oh god.
Oh, that reminds me. There, I know I wanted to go over this. There is speaking of food, there is a panel that is happening this year that I know that you would definitely be dropping in on if you were here.
All right,
I just gotta find it. Actually, you know what? Pull up the guide. Go to the website. Pull up the schedule. Let's take the last half hour to go through it, and I'll tell everybody what I plan on attending and what caught your eye, and what I might drop in on.
All right, so let's do the thing. Share screen. Share the guide. Share that tab. All right, so Thursday we've got starting Thursday night we've got the standard ribbon thing. some movies, how to volunteer with Anime-Zing. I know enough people that would actually go to that. Building an awesome trip to Japan. I would go to that largely to see if I could get anything new out of that, or to make comments about, how to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
But Kigurumi meetup, another movie, karaoke, a 18 plus meet and geek, trivia nights, music Jeopardy, Baby Metal's been around for 15 years. What?
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. Baby Metal's amazing. And then arbitrary ranking of ugly giant robots.
That sound like something you'd be interested, considering your love for the Gundam franchise?
That would be, I don't know. That one could go either way for me. Baby Metal, I'm all about. And then starting Friday morning, we've got Gosei Sentai episodes 1 through 4.
I would say 1993. Going kind of back in time, aren't we?
Yep. More karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Idol Basics. I feel like that's a Kaya panel.
Uh-huh.
The Golden Age of Kaiju. Oh, that could be fun.
Yep. In the 12 years since Godzilla 2014, we have entered the best era of monster films ever seen. Come hear why and learn about the history of kaiju movies as well.
Pacific Rim was a fun movie. 2006 Anime in Review.
So going back 20 years, damn.
Troubles with Translation. And Art Workshop.
Your video game room.
Your standard video game room. That I'd probably avoid because I find that tends to be either A, PvP games that I don't enjoy to begin with, or C, watching somebody else play an RPG, and that's just not fun. But if that's your thing,
probably the biggest thing that always gets people is the giant DDR that they have, and then there's a lot of like RPG games, like arcade style, and then of course I think they've started doing the VR type stuff.
Yeah, man. But and then we've got an art workshop, an autograph session, a panel, introduction to the use of CG in anime. Interesting. A showcase of Japanese film. I'd actually go to that because that's a panel that's something I actually enjoy. And lately I've been watching more and more Japan and Korean content on Netflix. More than a one hit show wonder.
Underrated works, basically.
Rakugo. What is the ribbon game? A panel put on by Temple University Japan campus. Earn your American degree in Tokyo. Where was this when I was in college?
Oh yeah.
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla the movie. And then we've got the art show and the artist alley, because who doesn't want to go to the artist alley? At least to walk around.
Exactly.
a photo shoot. Then we get into the photo shoots. Fan panels, a cosplay fan panel, a creature collectors beyond the pocket.
Mm-hmm. Other games from the big guys like Digimon and Power World, or to the classics like Monster Rancher, to indie darlings like Cassette Beasts and more. So basically, things other than Pokemon.
More photo shoot, a kid's room, a manga library, more autographs, and then we get into the cultural panels, live, work, and study in Japan. Watanabe Q&A, more photo shoots, a NPB. I don't know what Oh, I'm not sure what.
It says we'll discuss of NPB baseball anime.
Yep. And it's basically a panel about Japanese baseball, which is really cool. I might actually. I would possibly do well there because I do follow some Japanese baseball. A create your own badge ribbon workshop. Yokohama BJ Blues movie from 1981.
Really going on the throwback thing here, aren't we?
Yeah. More photo shoots.
Your tabletop gaming.
Tabletop gaming, pretty standard. A beginner's guide to Suikoden. The many collabs of Hatsune Miku.
So that's Kaya's.
Yep. Hunter Hunter Nen Impact Tournament. That's a video game tournament. Dealer Hall. More autographs. A
Japanese manners class.
Bowing, greeting, and the zabuton. Japanese voice actor panel. And an interesting one for me, the role of artificial intelligence in online manga. Then we've got Japanese instruments, meetup, different meetups, cosplay game show, cosplay. So you want to compete in a cosplay contest panel, anime home video museum, anime trivia challenge.
I think that was the one between that and the music challenge. Those were the guys that did the music challenge last year.
More art, more autographs, how young animators are trained in Japan. Interesting. Japan and Woman Zero recording Sadako's life in the US. Wait, what?
Born in 1934 in the heart of Tokyo, Sadako grew up during a time where it was common for Japanese to wear kimono, when one could hop on a trolley to go across town in the tallest building, and town was only about 5 stories. The most vivid memories of her youth are related to World War II, but like her home country, she moved past trauma and set her sights on the future. She traveled to the U.S. in '63 and never looked back. So this is one of the cultural guests actually explaining everything through her eyes.
I would watch. I would go to that.
So that would make her 92 years old.
I would. That's a thing I would do. Another one of the guests. What is a producer? More photo shoots, more video game tournaments. An introduction to Japanese sake. Ooh, that would be fun. But probably way more money than I want to spend. A Renaissance of Lupin the Third. Still never seen it. More manga recommendations for grown-ups. What's a grown-up? And let's go. Nope, right there. And then we've got the opening ceremony so late. There's so much happening before the opening ceremonies. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
A history of Bamani rhythm games. The Invisible Swordsman movie from 1970.
Guess that anime gacha tournament. Okay.
More photo
Probably.
shoots. A cosplay prop making workshop. More photo shoot.
The ever classic JoJo's Bizarre Adventure panel.
No, that's just a photo shoot. Unless you're further along than I am.
Nope, you're right.
Formal dance. So why is the formal dance at 5 p.m.? That's just
Don't
weird.
ask me.
More video game tournaments. Ooh. Introduction to East Asian bookbinding. That's another one that I would consider going to. But again, that's just taking several things I enjoy and putting them all together and making me spend money. Meetups, a panel about Japanese folk tales. Ooh, definitely. Mystic Boundary of Eastern Discourse. Taboo Showdown, a Sailor Moon musical panel.
Recently, My Sister is Unusual live action. They made a live action of that
in 2014.
God. Yeah, I remember the anime because I watched the anime.
That doesn't surprise me. And then we got AMV contest, a panel persona, but make it a sing along. Sunrise.
Studio Sunrise. 6 decades.
And now we get a JoJo panel.
Yeah, that one they're eventually going to have to make bigger because that panel packs out every year.
Pitch, please. Let's see what this is. Pitch, please. My yandere tomboy neko maid got isekai to the old west by a card game? Put anime, the anvil, and forge fiction in this game of incomprehensible improv hosted by the waifu warriors.
They're I think that's the ones that did the Waifu Wars panel.
Yeah, that feels like it's too much. I could be wrong.
Their whole thing is too much to an extent.
Photo shoot, anime idol showcase, vampire savior tournament. What the heck is a scalper? The sounds of Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo had a really good soundtrack, I'll give you that. Awesomely bad Japanese music videos. And then we're getting into more 18 plus content, Ribbon Game, a movie from 1967.
Like I said, really throwing back this year.
Beginner shamisen workshop. Shamisen is a musical instrument. Look it up. It's really pretty. Mario Kart Double Dash Tournament. Nana TV episodes 1 through 4. A tea ceremony. Curse tapes, Japanese horror films. Ooh, that could be fun. The Art of Parody.
Here's one, actually. The Just Hear Me Out 18 plus. This is a panel for you, Ange. You know why?
Why?
The cosplayer's court is in session. Come take the stand and defend your weird hear me outs in our courtroom and let the jury decide if you're guilty or not guilty.
Okay, that could be entertaining.
So basically, introduce all the hot takes you want and let the room be the judge.
I would probably pull a Sea Dog VA on that. And just spout out the most ridiculous crap.
Well, so long as you don't get kicked out.
The hot guys of anime 18 plus, okay. Terrifying Girls High School Women's Violent Classroom movie from 1972. A brief tutorial on toy photography, a Taskmaster game show, anime fails, late night dance, worst anime you probably never heard of, top, bottom, or switch anime character edition. Darren, I feel like you and I would have some fun arguing with that one.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like Doug would be way overwhelmed and we'd embarrass the hell out within 30 seconds managed to make Kaya embarrassed.
Probably.
Nana the live action movie, the Newlywed Game.
Nerdywed
Game. Same thing.
I know.
And then we get into Vintage Nintendo Commercial Hour. More throwbacks. Ninja Senta Kagu Ranger.
Karaoke opens.
Karaoke. Knights of the Sky. Aviation and Anime. Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime for the under 12s. Art and You, Haikyuu's Class Disparity and Marginalization. More autographs. Looks like a repeat panel.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff opening. Amusement Parks of Japan. There's becoming more and more of those. Another Godzilla panel. Animation workshop. Another Rakugo performance. Whisper of the Heart live action movie 2021. Beyond Dragon Ball, the expanded works of Akira Toriyama.
Mm-hmm.
Stage combat basics.
2016 anime.
Karate International Demonstration. Grand Blue Fantasy Tournament. Street Fighter Tournament.
Hey, my horse girls photo shoot. How many Umas am I going to see this year?
Too many. Family Feud, try to guess what a Japanese high school student said, the final survey. The 2026 Anime Music Challenge.
I'm game.
Jez Roth presents Project Cosplay. Time of the Flowing Island TG style of living.
The sanshin is a stringed instrument local to the Okinawan Islands. Join musical Kaizen Nita as he introduces you to this unique instrument rooted in Okinawan culture.
The Truth About Japan, What Anime Doesn't Show You. A movie from 1970. A Theater Kid's Guide to Japan.
One Piece tournament.
One Piece tournament, more photo shoots, meetups, photo shoot. Final Fantasy Fashion Week, Vocaloid, Beginner's Guide and History Lesson. Wait, Vocaloid is relevant?
Uh-huh.
Karaoke contest, Tekken tournament, more photo shoots, a sweet guide to Japanese colors. Q&A, guest Q&A, Koji Nagai, my new job and the anime business. Nailed it, Prop Forge. House, a movie from 1977. Musical performance, more photo shoots, reducing cosplay fast fashion, D&D
That's the one. That's the one.
Yep, that is definitely fast fashion needs to go away. In general, not just with cosplay, but that is a hot take on my end. I keep doing that. More photo shoots.
But the D&D Meshi was the one I was talking about.
Were you recently isekai'd and need to lead a group? Have you always wanted to play a TTRPG? Is collaborative play your thing, but you don't know where to start? D&D Meshi can help. Learn how to gather your party, design a narrative, and lead your friends through the dungeon of your dreams. Dungeon not included. A panel for GMs by GMs. Yeah, that is a thing. That sounds like fun. Name that anime, autograph session. Let's watch more crazy Japanese commercials, more photo shoot. Pokemon behind the voice. A cultural panel, religion and violence in the age of Shogun. Ooh. That's something I would watch. Visa issues in Japan given current events. That's actually going to be that would be a very interesting panel, I think. More Godzilla movies, Street Fighter tournament, Lolita Fashion Jeopardy, charity auction. Fire Emblem is 35 years old. Oh, yay. This is making me feel old, especially with all the throwback nonsense. Science and anime.
So, Dr. Stone themed.
30 plus years of watching cartoons and reading comic books for a living. Voice acting class. Let's Play Beholder. Women in Japan. A concert. More movies. Waifu Wars 8.
The beach episode.
Yep. Mystery game tournament, failed anime franchises, Japanese class, voice actor panel, cultural importance of Anime-Zing, playtest underminers, how to identify fake video games in anime, battle royale director's cut, Transformers: The Japanese Years.
Cultural knowledge, Her Story After Dark. Yes, women make hentai, and a lot of it. Join these two to discuss why women create the best adult anime.
David Lynch in Japan. Japanese RPG Maker Horror. Void Cat Trivia, Anime Games and Game and Soundtrack Showdown. The BL Club Behind Closed Doors.
Mm-hmm.
Ranma Half the Movie. Anime Fit.
And then I think Late Night Dance would be considered the rave.
Yep. Japanese take on body horror. Awesomely Bad Japanese Music Videos 18 Plus Edition.
Mega 64 in 5 minutes. No idea what that is.
Mega 64 is a online show similar to Rooster Teeth.
Okay. Then Angela's favorite Yaoi Fight Club.
Meh.
Oh Lord.
The Last Moments of Nobunaga, the Warring States period by the Biwa.
Yakuza Wives,
Okay.
1986.
And then we get into Sunday, and I'm just going to skip that because we're this close to running out of time and going back to chat.
Oh, I missed these two when I was scrolling earlier.
But, you know, Anime-Zing looks like it's going to be good, and you'll have to go and, let me know. Let me know how it is, and let me know what you actually go to.
Of course.
But now we're going to get rid of the screen share. But yeah, and John Knight has pointed out that this year, the United States of America, for better or worse, is turning 250 years old. And Ross has pointed out that there's a new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, coming out later this year. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna... Wow. And on that note, look at the time. Time flies. So let's... I'm gonna say let's call it a night. It's been a heck of an interesting ramble for this evening. Thank you, Ross, John, and everyone else who joined us. Thank you for the comments and the very interesting, thought-provoking questions, Ross. And next week, the rest of our guys should be back. We hope Doug doesn't have to work again. But until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, be safe in this be safe in this heat, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Night.